Big thoughts here.
Mark Zuckerberg needs to be put in his place.
For some reason, Instagram's never done that for me.
There's so many positive things that have come out of social media.
When we were younger and we had AIM,
sometimes my mood starts to shift if I'm on there for too long.
It was so addicting.
It's a drug.
And that's enough to affect you. I understand that.
I haven't had the app on my phone since August 2020.
I was like, this is blissful. Sit there like a little fucking troll. Is it just that they don't want to be tracked?
Did you take your vitamins today, by the way?
I didn't, and it just reminded me.
Your Solar Ray vitamins?
No, I forgot. I need to take them, but it's okay. It's still like, what time is it? We have a discount code they gave us.
We do. We'll drop it in it's the Naked Room. Just all caps, like we're screaming at you. The Naked Room.
No. Naked Room.
The Naked Room. We'll put it in the show notes too.
Yeah, I think it's like
20% off.
20%.
20% off. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
If you're listening, share it with someone. Then we have more people.
Yeah, exactly. Share it. Like, subscribe, share.
Yes.
Give us a 5-star review everywhere.
No dress code, no rules, just BYOU. It's time to tell society that it's a taboo. You can be the youest you here in the Naked Room.
Tell me more about the case thing. I'm not in the loop.
Okay, so Meta and YouTube lost their case. It's a 20-year-old woman who says that before she even turned 13, before she was a teenager, she says, well, I have it pulled up here. I'm looking at the Wall Street Journal right now because I get my one free read per month or whatever.
Free read. You should see me with the New York Times games. Like, I don't pay for it anymore. And so I have to but Oliver still has it because he had like a year subscription or something. And so we go to play him at night and he'll like open up like connections or something. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, wait, and 5 seconds because it has to play an ad for 5 seconds on mine. And I'm like, 4, 3, 2, okay, now I can play.
Yeah. You're like, hold on.
Behind.
It's got to reset.
So, okay. So she sued or she took YouTube and Meta to court.
So
she said, I'll see you in court.
So the plaintiff is a 20-year-old woman named Kaylee G.M., who testified that social media use that started before she was a teenager had dominated her life for years and contributed to mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, and body dysmorphia. She's getting $3 million. That was what the jury decided. 70% of that is going to Meta, which is a drop in the bucket for them. But whatever, we're so happy that they lost because Mark Zuckerberg needs to be put in his place. I'm so tired of these men ruling the world with tech.
What was that? There was a documentary I watched a while ago. Maybe it was like last year they were interviewing employees of Instagram, I think it was. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you might have told me about that.
I saw that, where they're like, I don't even let my kid use this because I know all the dangers.
Stuff was going bad.
Well, and there was another thing that I had read where Meta knew that what they were allowing for teenage people, a girl in this case, was going to cause harm. But instead of pulling back on it, they opted for a tiny additional profit, knowing that they were going to end up causing harm. So it feels like they're getting their just desserts, honestly.
Targeting ads and stuff like towards younger,
or like
the younger folk.
Yeah, or like you're Kaylee GM as a 12-year-old and you're seeing videos about like propping up anorexia and dieting and all of that kind of stuff.
Really curious what their take on that was. Like, you know me, I'm like devil's advocate. Like, it's awful. And I'm so glad that she got her day in court. But I wonder from their perspective if they're like, well, if you're a parent, then you know, like if, I don't know. Yeah. Cause it's like, I guess like all in all, it would be if you're allowing people under the age of 18 to use your app, then it's on you.
Yeah.
Because the parents' trust is in the creators of the app that if they aren't creating that sort of like firewall, you know, then whatever they're going to be subjected to, subjected to, Your Honor, then their trust would be, that it would be fair game and that it would be a safe space. But in her case, it definitely sounds like it wasn't. I'll have to read about that. I'm very curious as to what like her evidence that she was, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder
Yeah.
what she was able to kind of bring forth that,
I mean, she had some good lawyers for sure.
yeah. And it was obviously heavy enough to, sway a juror to understand her point.
And how many other people have been suffering in silence like this? Like, this is just one of millions of kids, I'm sure.
You take time off Instagram. Like, what? I mean, I guess I kind of know, but I guess like for the listeners, like what your pain point with it and the reason why you kind of stay away from it is what category?
I'm a 42-year-old person with a fully developed frontal lobe.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel bad when I go on social media sites. I'm able to put things in perspective in a way that a 13-year-old isn't. So I can't imagine. That's why I got off of it. So I haven't had the app on my phone since August 2020.
When you say feel bad, it's like more career-based comparison or just comparison in general?
It's more that I think that other people are succeeding more than me in the ways that I want to be succeeding. Like,
which is pretty powerful because like you have like you said, you have the development and the wherewithal and the logic to know that it's just mostly highlights.
Oh,
but it's still you consume it in a way that's it's like a snack. So it's like this quick thing that like your brain is just like, this is what I'm thinking, even though I know that's not real. That's not reality. That's like a very small fraction of this person's like, existence. But you take it in as like fact for that second. And that's enough to affect you. I understand that.
Yeah. And we could go down a whole rabbit hole into talking about
how much I love my bunny hole.
You love bunny trails and rabbit holes. We could go down a whole rabbit hole talking about how we are so obsessed with that feeling that we get when we see a notification saying that we got more just humanity in general, or anyone who has access to social media and plays into the game. It's a drug. It is a drug.
At some point, that completely shifted for me. And I don't know exactly when it was, but I hope that I can find a balance between the two, because there definitely was a time where it was really exciting to be like, oh, I got a message, or, you post something and you're like, oh, I have all these likes, or, I feel validated or seen or, liked. And now I've went to this other side where like, if I get any sort of notification in any social media, I'm like, ugh, I just don't want that. It just feels like work. It just feels like extra, like what is this going to be? Or, but that's also because I've tied a lot of my work to social media.
Yeah,
I guess. So it is, the farm stand and stuff like that, like comes up and I'm like, oh, okay, I got to deal with that.
So it has a different kind of power over you. It's
I guess so.
It's that knee-jerk reaction of like
open it and I'm like, ugh, like what's gonna be in there, instead of like, like what is this?
Yeah. Well, and the like vanity metrics of getting more and more followers, and I'm like, why does everything feel like it's tied back to a cult too? It's like weird. I'm getting followers.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, I know that term.
That term, it feels very culty. Yeah. Just finding highlights in this article. During the 7-week trial, Kaylee testified that she started watching YouTube videos at age 6 and made an Instagram account at age 9. I thought you weren't allowed to do that until 13. She uploaded more than 200 YouTube videos before she turned 10 and created 15 Instagram accounts before she turned 15. Okay, and then it said she spent, Kaylee's lead attorney said that on one day she spent 16 hours on Instagram.
When you said 6 and with YouTube, I was like, that doesn't even shock me, because I feel like when I nannied or even like babysat, like that is pretty standard. But there are also, I think now, I could be wrong, but I feel like the last time I babysat and somebody had a very young child, that they were like, yeah, he watches YouTube. They're like, no, it's a certain account. Like it's a specific account that only allows them to watch. Like, and I would imagine if that's the case, then they either now or definitely directly after that lawsuit have it set up to where like the advertisements and things that they're being fed would also be kid oriented.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's just a bigger existential conversation in general. Just social media has opened so many avenues for jobs and so many avenues for being able to get opportunities. There's so many
Yeah.
positive things that have come out of social media, but
Like
this
I
is the
find it inspiring. I don't know. Like I'm sure there are things. I mean, I'm human. There are definitely things that make me feel like you do with social media, you know, like where I'm like I'm not there yet. But for some reason, Instagram's never done that for me. It could be my algorithm or just the fact that like I've always kind of went to it for like inspiration, you know, like if I'm looking to do something, I will type that in and find other people who have done videos. I find it inspiring for fashion, but I've never really had that part that's, you know, why do they have that and I don't? I would probably feel that way more on LinkedIn. And it's funny because you don't on LinkedIn. Like it's like opposite, which
oh,
is interesting.
no, I do. I
You're like,
just
oh, girl.
I notice sometimes my mood starts to shift if I'm on there for
Mhm.
too long. And that's all coming from my own ego that I just realized this is when I realized that I need to check myself. LinkedIn is an interesting, it feels LinkedIn makes me feel a little bit trapped sometimes
Mhm.
because it is the place where I have the biggest following. I'm at like 15,500 followers on LinkedIn at this point. And that was mostly because I was working for a big corporation for Red
Yeah.
Bull, and photographers wanted to work with me. And so a lot of photographers started following me. And now I've changed what I'm talking about, and my audience is shifting, which is also a really interesting thing to see. That's a really interesting experiment. If you're pivoting in your career and you start talking about new things, know that people are going to fall off for a little while and the new people are going to find you. So that was something that I had to contend with specifically with LinkedIn, but
Mhm.
I still have to check myself with LinkedIn for sure. But yeah, Instagram was triggering for me because I was showcasing my photography. So it was,
Yeah. I
I
guess I could
was,
see that.
yeah, I was trying to get work through this social media platform. And if I saw that there were other photographers out there who were seemingly getting a lot of work or had a ton of followers, I felt really invalidated in what I was producing. And I was
Mhm.
also trying to do things that I thought other people would like instead of following my own intuition on what worked for me and what my voice was as an artist.
Yeah.
So that was why I had such trouble with Instagram, because it felt like a weird comparison game on something that just shouldn't really be compared or can't be compared.
Yeah. It's your own personal art, but yeah, you are putting it out there. I mean, there are aren't there settings now where you can set it to where you can't like I feel like I've been on people's pages before and you like can't like their stuff, like they don't accept likes or whatever.
You can turn comments off, and then I don't I don't know about that setting, but you can turn I know Instagram was like not showing how many likes people were getting for a while.
Yeah, maybe
It'd be
maybe
like
that's what I'm thinking of.
it'd be like Jamie Lynn Fincham and others.
Mhm.
And I think that that's supposed to help with the mental health component of people feeling like their value is based
Yeah.
off of the number. And I wonder if it helped. It'd be interesting to ask other people who
Mhm.
have noticed a change, or maybe they haven't noticed a change, but I imagine that that's probably helped some people feel better while they're on there.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, I remember I went on vacation with a friend, and her daughter was a teenager at the time. And where we vacationed, we didn't have cell service. We were out of the country. And
Sounds amazing.
yeah, I was like, this is blissful. But their daughter was really having a hard time. And I had a hard time having empathy for her in the beginning because I was
Mm.
like, okay, like this is ridiculous. But then I realized and I think she later kind of, you know, talked to me about it, that her friend group, or just kind of like that generation, they were really connected through Instagram. Like they were talking through there and Snapchat more than they would, they wouldn't text or really call each other at all. So it was like that was where everything was happening. And I'm sure it kind of felt like this momentum that you build with like these, getting likes and posting pictures and stuff. I'm sure she wanted to be able to like post cool pictures of where she was at and be able to like have this like ongoing conversation, and she just couldn't for a week and a half or whatever it was. And it was like pretty wrecking on her mental health, I think, at that time. And
That's
it took
crazy.
me a minute to like understand, for us it's a nice additional option. It's like, oh, this cool new thing that
Yeah.
we
But
could
that's
like put my music on, or you can put your photography on, and we can like connect with people. And for them, I guess the only thing that would compare is when we were younger and we had AIM, Like
yeah.
I remember, I don't know what your relationship with AOL Messenger was, but we didn't have a computer for a while, and then we got one. And when we did and we had AIM, it was like this like all of a sudden I can connect with friends
Yep.
at school and other people that weren't even from my school. And
Yeah. Creepy
our
45-year-olds
yeah,
who
right.
are
I mean,
saying they're
I think
13-year-old girls.
I think like thank God, like my dad's, heavy hand in that. And like I think just I've always been kind of like stranger danger anyway. So I think I stayed out of like chat rooms. I definitely wasn't one of the girls who was like, I'm gonna go like see what I can catch in this chat room. I
Yeah.
would talk to people from school, but it was so addicting. And getting to school the next day and knowing, that somebody's like, oh yeah, on AIM last night we were having this conversation, or like if they had chat rooms or something that were multiple people. As somebody who considers themselves a pretty good kid, like I didn't like sneak out or anything. I would, when I was grounded, would still wake up in the middle of the night, sneak into the whatever room it was. It was kind of our living room, put a heavy blanket over like me and the modem or whatever, because it made that
Oh yeah.
like the sign-on noise, and sit there like a little fucking troll, like
Yeah.
eyes burning, like no sleep. I couldn't get enough of it, of like that connection with
Yep.
people that's similar, I guess. Like that's like you, at least to that generation. But now what's cool that you mentioned, I think in one of our last episodes, is that there's the new influx now of that younger generation not wanting to be on their phone anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, it does feel like there's this balance kind of happening, balancing of the scales. I want to go back to AIM though, because
Yeah, what was your relationship with AIM?
what I remember the most is sitting in my friend Laura, who
Mhm.
Laura's
Oh yeah,
basement.
best esthetician on the planet Earth.
Best esthetician on the planet.
Maybe
Um,
in the whole universe. I don't know.
in the whole universe.
Very
On
possible.
Mars too. She's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah. But she and I would sit there and go into the chat rooms and be like, we would give descriptions of ourselves, but it would be basic. It's like, I have brown hair and brown eyes and look like this. And then Laura would be like, I have strawberry blonde hair and green eyes. I think she has green eyes. And we'd be like, who do you think is prettier?
I feel like I did that, but
Just
I would like pretend I was like an old man or something. Like I did it like for funny. I'd be like, I'm a 65-year-old like truck
No.
driver.
This is a great example of how much of my programming was that my identity was wrapped up in my looks. Like,
Yeah.
that's something that is interesting with, this is a whole other conversation, but something that's interesting with aging is like getting to a place where you're realizing that there's more to you than that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're going to be very unsettled as you get older.
All over last night, I was like looking at I started taking creatine recently, and I sat and was talking to him and saying that I was like, I feel like I definitely I've taken on I've taken on water. Like I'm a boat. I've taken on some water weight since I started taking it. And he was like, yeah, that's supposed to, like, that happens, because it's like I'm gonna totally fudge this. So anybody who's like an expert on creatine, please school me on it. But it pulls water into your muscles to help them recover after your workouts. And there can be like a load period where you get a little bloated, and I'm feeling and seeing that. And I was like, especially in my arms, and I was like squeezing my arm. And then I was like, my skin also, I feel like, is starting to look older. And instead of Oliver being the typical sweet man that he is and would say, no, it's not, he was like, we all age.
Oliver, you're fired.
I was like, yes, we do. Yes, thank you.
Get out.
Yep. But when you were saying that, okay, I had two thoughts. First, my thought was, I was talking to somebody the other day who has a daughter that they track with this app. And I was like, wait a second.
Like an AirTag?
Basically, it's an app called Life 360. She was like, yeah, I track her, and that gives me peace of mind because I know where she's at. And I was like, oh, well, how does she feel about that? And she was like, I mean, we had to talk about it, and she knows. And
glad she knows.
Yeah. But I had this moment that I hated where I was like, when you were talking about the kids really not wanting to have their phones anymore, I thought it was like this beautiful exit of social media. And now I'm like, is it just that they don't want to be tracked? They're just like, we don't want our phones because we want to be able to have more freedom, which like I get. But that kind of made me think about that.
I feel like we should have a conversation with somebody who is like 17 or 18 right now, or maybe even younger, and just see what their feelings are. Because from what I've heard, a lot of younger people are just questioning life with only knowing devices.
Yeah.
And
their whole life being
and they know that that's not, that there's something weird about that, and that that's not normal. But it's all that they know. And so I think that there's a little bit of a rejection happening there. Because they love the 90s. We always love nostalgia that we didn't live through. Like you and I loved the 60s and 70s, and we never lived through it.
Big thoughts here.
Okay.
Do you think that the world has gotten to such a weird fucking place that the reason why end of that's it. That was my big thought. But the reason why we're seeing that 90s things are coming back, and that these kids who also love 90s things are feeling distant from phones, is that somebody, source, universe, was like, I got to do something about this. So the beings that are being sent to become humans are people who were here in the 90s, and we love the 70s because no, that's too close. That generation's too close, but the 90s one isn't.
We need some weed, girl.
I
know. Where's my gummy?
But
I want to get sponsored by a gummy. I'm taking gummies like every night.
We got to get a small, somebody, anybody in the gardening industry. I love that they call it gardening now. Have you noticed that?
But weed. Oh, that's funny.
Like smoking or something. They're like, I have to garden before I do that. I'm like,
I feel like this can be a whole other episode. Yeah. Maybe we can talk about the existentialism. It's way existential, what you're saying. Just to bring it back to the overarching theme of kids and their mental health, and how social media definitely has had a huge impact, a negative impact in a lot of ways.
Yeah, more negative than positive for sure. Like,
I'm glad that this case happened and that Meta and YouTube lost, because that precedence needed to be set. So that's my overarching opinion on that whole thing, on that current event. But yeah, let's get all spiritual in another episode. What do you think?
Bring it on.
The Naked Room podcast is brought to you by hot coffee, cold showers, grit and determination, the power of being a woman.
We'd like to thank ourselves. This is a self-run operation. We have done all of this on our own, other than with the help of our hot sound guy, my husband, Curtis Keeper, who curated all of our equipment and got us up and running.